Hot on the heels of the hatchback version comes the Skoda Octavia estate, offering cavernous space for both people and luggage, low running costs and very competitive pricing. It's not the most exciting car in the world, either to look at or to sit in, but as a car that does exactly what it sets out to do, it's very hard to fault. It's practical, comfortable, and offers excellent value for both private buyers and company car drivers, as it's currently priced at £800 more than the hatchback. More space than ever. Skoda says the new Octavia estate is the most practical Octavia ever, and the last one certainly wasn't impractical. The new car is bigger but lighter than the outgoing model and offers greater load space and a more roomy interior for passengers. Boot space is the largest in its class, with a deeper, wider and lower loading area than before, and a toe-level variable floor system available to accommodate items of different heights. A fully folding passenger seat is also available, which enables objects as long as 3 meters to be carried. Petrol and diesel engines from launch. There's a choice of 4 engines, 2 petrol and 2 diesel. Arriving a few months after launch are ultra-frugal GreenLine versions of the diesels, which can return a claimed average fuel consumption as efficient as 83 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions as low as 87 gkm. Such figures are sure to be music to company car drivers' ears, since their benefit-in-kind taxation system is based on CO2 figures. Standard equipment is quite generous. All Octavia estates feature a multimedia touchscreen system as standard, along with alloy wheels and 7 airbags. 4x4 version and all-wheel drive version, the Skoda Octavia Estate 4x4, is available too. It has electronic locking differentials on the front and rear axles and an improved clutch system over the previous version. While you wouldn't be able to take it over any extremely rough ground, it'll tackle loose surfaces and steep slopes very capably. A tougher off-road oriented version with a raised ride height, the Octavia Scout, is due in 2014. One of the few criticisms you might level at the car is that it could perhaps do with a little more personality. Like the hatchback version, it's a little plain looking, but it is attractive and elegantly styled with some crisp detailing. The previous generation Octavia was the best-selling estate in Europe, and there's no reason to doubt that the latest version could repeat its success. Skoda expects up to half of all Octavias sold in the UK to be estates. To find out more, read on for a full Skoda Octavia estate review. Performance. From the car's launch in spring 2013, there's a choice of 4 engines, 2 petrols and 2 diesels. The engines are familiar from the hatchback and other VW Group cars, and Skoda Octavia estate performance is on a par with its rivals. Petrol engines. Petrol choices are a 1.2 TSI with 103 bhp or a 1.4 TSI with 138 bhp, both of which are turbocharged. The 1.2-litre TSI is a little engine in a big car, but it punches well above its weight. It's a smooth engine that enables decent acceleration, and although there's a small amount of turbo lag low down, it's never enough of a problem to obstruct progress. While the 1.2-litre engine is fitted with a solid-feeling 6-speed manual gearbox as standard, the 1.4 TSI engine can also be had with the option of a 7-speed automatic dual-clutch DSG transmission. It's the most powerful petrol engine available from launch, with 138 bhp. On the road it's an eager engine that pulls very strongly above 2000 revolutions per minute thanks to 250 Nm of torque. It's also quiet and, provided you discipline with your right foot, fairly frugal too. Diesel engines. The 2 turbo diesels are a 1.6-litre TDI engine with 103 bhp and a 2.0-litre TDI engine with 147 bhp. Both can be spec'd with either a manual gearbox or a DSG auto. Like many diesels, The 1.6-litre unit has a small amount of turbo lag at low revs and can begin to struggle if left in too high a gear, but it's nevertheless a smooth and impressive engine. Most powerful diesel engine is the 2.0-litre TDI, which has plenty of power on tap but remains smooth and quiet. It's well suited to motorway driving and can hold its own on rural roads too. We drove the engine together with the automatic DSG transmission, which can be a bit keen to shift down a gear sometimes and often does its own thing even with the driver using the manual shift paddles behind the steering wheel. It's still a great transmission, however, capable of swapping gears incredibly quickly and smoothly. There are 4x4 versions available but only with the 2 diesel engines and a 6-speed manual gearbox. If the ultimate in efficiency is what you're after, you'll need an Octavia with a GreenLine badge on the boot. These have very frugal fuel consumption and CO2 figures. See the costs section of this review for more details. Handling. The Octavia Estate drives very well, with characteristics similar to the VW Golf in feel, not surprising as the Octavia shares similar underpinnings. Although you'd be unlikely to describe it as exciting to drive, it's a stable, comfortable and easy car to pilot. Like the Golf, a drive mode select menu allows the driver to choose from different settings for the power steering and throttle response to best suit their driving style. 4x4 versions have a different multi-link suspension setup and ride much more smoothly than front-wheel drive versions. They're also fitted with electronic diff locks on the front and rear axles to help the car find purchase on loose ground. During our test we attempted a hill start on a very steep gravel-covered incline in the 2.0-litre diesel Octavia 4x4, and it achieved it without fuss. The relatively low ground clearance 4x4 versions aren't any higher than a regular Octavia Estate, means serious off-roading is very much off-limits, though. The 4x4 system also has some theoretical benefits for tarmac driving too, as power is sent to the rear wheels during fast cornering to help keep the car balanced, and the electronic differential system gently brakes the inside wheels to help the car take a tighter line while cornering. You're unlikely to feel any of this tech at work while driving, however, unless you're pushing particularly hard. Equipment. As with the Octavia hatchback, there are 3 trim levels available: S, Say and Elegance. Each trim level has been kitted out with more standard equipment than the outgoing Octavia, and there are many high-tech safety systems available. Standard Skoda Octavia Estate equipment. All Octavias feature a touchscreen multimedia system as standard, along with alloy wheels, climate control, Bluetooth, and digital radio. Also standard across all trim levels is an automatic post-collision braking system, which is triggered in the event of a crash. When activated, it puts the brakes on to slow the car to 6 miles per hour and prevent it traveling further into the path of other traffic. It also triggers the hazard warning lights. Say versions get a different alloy wheel design, body-colored mirrors and door handles, extra interior storage bins and front fog lights. They also get a driver fatigue sensor system as standard. This keeps track of the driver's steering inputs, and if it seems that you're about to wander off the road, it will sound an alarm and flash a cup of coffee symbol on the instrument panel to politely suggest you might want to take a break. Both Say and top-spec Elegance versions come with a drive select menu, allowing the driver to mix and match settings for the power steering, throttle response and air conditioning to suit their tastes. They also both feature a load-through hatch in the center of the rear seats for loading longer items without folding the seats flat. Elegance versions also add larger 17-inch wheels, Alcantara and leather upholstery, extra armrests, automatic wipers, cruise control and satellite navigation. They also get adaptive cruise control and front assistant, a radar system which detects imminent collision hazards. If it calculates that the car is about to bump into something, it will sound an alert and trigger a warning jolt to the brakes, before performing an emergency stop if necessary. If that sounds a bit too big brother for you, It is possible to turn the system off via a menu in the touchscreen system. Front Assistant is available for cars produced from June 2013 onwards, so a few very early models may be missing it. Standard for elegance grade cars but optional for C versions is Intelligent Light Assistant, which dips the headlights from high beam automatically to avoid dazzling oncoming traffic. Clever practical touches include a net restraint system for the luggage compartment, several bag hooks and bottle holders. You also get a retractable parcel shelf as standard and an adjustable height boot floor in the elegance version. Optional Skoda Octavia estate accessories. Like many cars, the Octavia features an automatic parking assistant program, but this one has the added ability to carry out bay parking maneuvers as well as parallel parking. The system scans the area for a suitable space and then operates the steering while the driver works the pedals. As well as getting itself into spaces, it can also steer itself out of a line of cars too. Keyless entry and start is also available, as is a lane keeping assist system. Further options include larger wheels, sports suspension, cornering fog lights which swivel with the steering, LED tail lights, electrically adjustable front seats and a sunroof. Comfort. Skoda Octavia estate comfort levels are very good. The engines are quiet to the point of being outweighed by wind noise on dual carriageways, and the leather and Alcantara trimmed seats in our elegance aspect test cars were supremely comfortable. 4x4 versions have a noticeably smoother ride than front-wheel drive versions, due to their different multi-link suspension setup. The ride quality really is quite impressively silky even on rough roads. Four-wheel drive cars have slightly firmer damping and are very comfortable for the most part, but can judder slightly over rippled surfaces on dual carriageways, for example. Practicality. Skoda says the new Octavia estate is the most practical Octavia yet. It has a wider boot opening than before, and a lower loading lip too to make packing heavy items easier. Boot capacity is 610 litres, which Skoda says is the best in the car's class. This increases to 1,740 litres when the 60:40 split rear seats are folded, which is the work of a moment. Once the seats are down, the retractable parcel shelf forms a natural lip to prevent objects sliding forward against the front seats, or alternatively can be removed and stored under the boot floor. The top elegance trim level features a variable height boot floor which can be slotted into two levels. This enables large items of different heights to be carried or smaller items to be stored out of sight in the large storage cavity underneath. Molded plastic hooks to secure bags fold out of the side of boot, and a net system is available to stop items sliding around on the move. There's a 12-volt socket in the boot, too. There's also more knee, head, shoulder and elbow room for passengers than its predecessor. Rear seat passengers won't feel at all squashed, even if the front seat occupants are exceptionally tall. A folding front passenger seat is available, enabling objects as long as 3 meters to be carried. Both C and elegance trim versions also feature a load-through hatch in the middle of the rear seat backs. Skoda Octavia estate practicality, like the hatch version, has been thought through thoroughly enough to include an ice scraper attached to the back of the fuel filler cap for cold weather. Safety. The Octavia has been given a 5-star rating from independent safety body EuroNCAP, scoring particularly well for adult occupant protection. There are 7 airbags as standard, front, side, curtain and driver's knee, and Skoda Octavia estate safety credentials are also boosted by a roster of high-tech assistance systems. These include driver fatigue sensor, which monitors your inputs and sounds an alert if it thinks you're nodding off, lane assistant, which uses a camera to track white lines on the road ahead and nudges the car back into lane if you stray a course, front assistant, which effectively performs an emergency stop if it detects that you're about to hit the car in front, and an automatic post-collision brake system, which puts the brakes on in the event of a crash to stop the car traveling further and going on to secondary impacts. The latter is standard across all trim levels, while other systems are standard on elegance models but optional on C versions. Reliability. Previously, Škoda Octavia estate's reliability has been strong. Škodas often fare well in reliability and customer satisfaction surveys, and the engines are shared with other cars in the VW Group lineup, so they are well proven. The new Octavia estate is also lighter than before, which should help reduce wear and tear.